It's not every day that you hear a story of crime actually paying. Folks, who says crime doesn't pay? In the story that I'm getting ready to share with you here today, it most certainly has done so. Never have you ever heard of a story like this before, where who is being referred to as not only a career criminal, but also a freaking lowlife has just struck it rich, winning a $167.3 million lottery jackpot. Can you say cha-ching? That's an awful lot of cough syrup right there. $167.3 million is going to buy a hell of a lot of dope. If it is in fact dope that has led this guy to a lifetime of crime. Folks, there are people absolutely outraged, appalled by the fact that a convict has just frickin' won the lottery. James Shannon Farthing, 50 years old. This guy has spent more than 30 years of his life, more than half of his life, in and out of jails and prisons. 25 different correctional facilities just across the state of Kentucky alone. This man has a 16-page rap sheet with crimes spanning over 30 years. What made this guy go buy a lottery ticket? Was it his first time buying one? Hey, you know what? Here's a buck. Let me try my luck. Folks, there are people dumping their life savings into these weekly lottery drawings, not winning nothing. And you mean to tell me that there's some lowlife has been reported here in this story? I don't think of this guy as that, but that's what common folk and media outlets, rage-baiting titles and stories are referring to this guy as. It was back in April when James Farthing, alongside his 77-year-old mother and girlfriend, Jacqueline Fightmaster, diabolical last name and kind of ironic given where this story is going to end up going, was able to hold up this check right here with $167.3 million won in a Kentucky Powerball. Folks, what do you think this guy is going to do with all of that money? Give back to the community? Change the error of his ways? You know, oftentimes we hear that money can't buy happiness, but maybe it could buy a better way of living. A life where you don't have to resort to crime. Unfortunately for this guy, though, that is certainly proven already to not be the case. Because it's been reported that just 3 days after he won the lottery, he ended up down in Florida where he was arrested again. Not for old charges that took place and came up since this life-changing money came into his life. No, folks, these were for brand new charges where he allegedly punched a hotel guest in the face and then kicked a deputy who tried to intervene. Kapow! Do you know who I am? Buddy was feeling like Justin Bieber. I don't even want to say Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's down bad right now. Buddy was feeling like a rock star. Not only would it be new charges that this guy caught down in Florida, it would be new charges back in Kentucky as well, because catching these new charges violated the terms of his probation. And not just for catching those new charges neither. They said he violated his parole because he failed to notify his parole officer about the out-of-state travel. Hey, this guy just can't do right no matter what, unfortunately. Sometimes people are just addicted to the rush, or maybe they just have no coof. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but they just have no off button. Some people just do and then think about it afterwards. Some people just shoot first and then ask questions. But you know what? Money makes all the difference in the world. Because even given the fact that this guy is a career criminal with a 16-page rap sheet and a 30-year crime spree, he was able to get a bail and was able to get out on $11,000, likely funded by his lottery windfall. He pleaded not guilty, faces arraignment on July the 14th. The battery charge alone for hitting the deputy carries up to 5 years in prison. Can you imagine? This man could do whatever he wants to do. He's got the money to do so. I'm not sure how much taxes are going to take out of $167.3 million. I got to imagine it's probably going to be something like $67.3 million, but you're still left with a cool hundo. Or maybe it's vice versa. Taxes end up being $100 million, but you still got 67. No matter how much he's got to pay in taxes, he still has life-changing money. But he could have went and bought a house, started a business. He could have done all of these things. You know, you think if you win the lottery, what's the first thing you're going to do? I'm going to settle down, white picket fence, 30 acres, Buddy was probably thinking, shit, I'm going to get me an ounce of blow and carry my ass down to the cheapest motel down in Florida. I don't necessarily know if that's what he did or not, but it certainly sounds like he didn't do anything good. And that's unfortunate. Man, this guy really gives people who have made a lot of mistakes in their lives an even worse name. Maybe this is a bit of a social experiment right here. Really showcasing that some people, no matter what, even with $160 million, still just can't change. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, the saying oftentimes goes. They say this guy has a lifetime of mugshots. Early photos show him clean-shaven and youthful, while recent ones depict a gray-bearded, heavier man. The dramatic transformation reflects a lifetime of incarceration and criminal activity. And dare I say, probably also drug use as well. He's not just a petty criminal neither. They say he's violent and manipulative, convicted of choking a girlfriend and even attempting to bribe prison officers, smuggled drug paraphernalia and charged other inmates to get back their stolen belongings. Dude was a shot caller in prison. They say that his behavior inside prison often led to frequent placement and administrative segregation, but he spent a lot of time in the hole. But even with so much negativity that has surrounded this guy, here's a somewhat positive thing. They say he even roped his own mother into a scheme to smuggle marijuana into a maximum security prison. She ended up getting caught trying to do so, and he took a plea deal that protected his mother from criminal activity. I think that alone speaks volumes about this guy. He ain't gonna let nobody else go down for his shit. He took it like a man. It was his idea, his plan. Crazy to involve his mother. Maybe that was all that he had at the time to be able to do so. She got caught, and he took the charge. Charges obviously weren't nothing new to this guy. What's crazy to think here is oftentimes when you hear about somebody winning the lottery, it's some single mother who's working 5 jobs just trying to take care of her kids, or, some guy who's, like deserving of the situation. This story is completely opposite of that. Maybe potentially illustrating a time when a bad guy actually wins and gets the bag in a legit legal way. It's not always a Cinderella feel-good story. You gotta know without knowing that this guy has probably no idea how to manage money. I mean, most people who run into this kind of money, like a lottery winning, probably wouldn't know how to do so neither. But maybe they get a financial planner or advisor to help them do so. I just think in this guy's particular case, he's probably going to be able to run through this money pretty quickly. I remember a point in my life, I'm 42 years old, where, I had heard that $1 million was all you need. You could be set for life. Maybe I was a kid then, because I don't think even $1 million could come close to helping you get through the rest of your life here today. But $167 million? How crazy would it be to know that you could probably blow through that in just a few years, maybe even sooner, depending on how much spending you're really doing. But that certainly is life-changing money, if put to use in the right ways. There's been a lot of backlash over this lottery payout. Many are questioning how a career criminal was allowed to collect such a massive prize. Some call for reform in lottery eligibility, especially for violent and repeat offenders. Some stipulations to probation and parole could be that you can't gamble, but those are far and few between. Like if you've got money-related crimes for running an illegal book or something like that, that would be the only time that you would have those type of stipulations added on. I think the majority of this is people are just butthurt that this guy, the bad guy, actually won in this case. They say Farthing may face additional penalties for violating parole. His newfound wealth is also under legal scrutiny, especially if used to fund criminal behavior. But he did decide to start a business. He went and got a shitload of bricks, and I'm not talking masonry neither. From prison to Powerball, crime pays. Can you buy redemption? Should felons be allowed to win the lottery? Just some final bullet points I want to leave you with. If you haven't heard this story, or maybe you have so, I hope you found some interest in me sharing about it. And if you did so, please leave a like and a comment on this video. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you find yourself new here on After Prison Show, enjoying this content but not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so and turning on bell notifications so that you never miss an upload from us. It would greatly be appreciated and go a long ways to helping to support this channel. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!